Without further ado, I would like to welcome Ms. Elizabeth Westwood, the British School Jakarta Head of Primary, to explain more about our primary school.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be with you today and to be able to share a little bit about our school and be able to take some of your questions. Just to give you a little bit of context, my name is Elizabeth Westwood. I am indeed the head of primary, and this is my first academic year here at BSJ, so I've been here about 8 weeks. With me, I've got two colleagues, assistant head teacher, Mrs. Tamara Keenan, and my deputy head, Mr. Ian Hope. We'll be sharing the presentation between us, and please direct any questions to whoever you think most appropriate. So first of all, I would just like to share with you the BSJ vision, mission, and values. So our mission is to inspire excellence in education and life. And we do that through our core values and our vision. As you can see on the mandala, we have BSJ at the heart. Then we have the head, heart, self, and system. Around that, we have the environment, the purpose, learning, and the systems. And then around the outside is actually our day-to-day beliefs. We shape the school and the school shapes us. We're a constantly evolving, constantly moving organisation to what is best for our students. So first of all, just to give you a little bit of an idea of our structure and organisation. So yes, we have BSJ quality, we have world-class staff, and we have world-class collaborations. We're an Apple Distinguished School, we have links with Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, and we also have links with Manchester City Football Club. Our teachers are fully qualified in the UK or equivalent. Over 90% of them are from the UK, and over 40% of us hold master's degrees. We have fully qualified staff to support English as an additional language and individual needs as well. Working with us, we also have great support from our learning support assistants. We also have specialist teachers for sports, music, drama, and languages. We have a great medical centre, we have music tutors, we have careers and university counsellors, as well as a counselling service. Here is just a very brief overview of our calendar for this academic year. It's worth noting that we are aligned with the UK and the US, and that we also have links to international assessment dates and university entrance. Possibly a little bit a way off for some of your children, but it's never too early to keep that in mind. So the timings of our day, we have different times to suit different parts of our school community here in primary. The day starts for everybody at 7:50 in the morning, and our year 1 and 2 students, our Key Stage 1, finish at 1:45 on a daily basis. And then they have extracurricular activities offered to them from 1:45 to 2:45. Moving up as our children get a little bit older, in Key Stage 2 and years 3 to 6, we have the same timing of the day for everybody, and that's 7:50 AM to 2:45 PM, except on a Tuesday where we finish at 1:55 for staff development and training. And then students in years 3 to 6 are offered ECAs from 3 o'clock till 4 o'clock. And just to give you a little bit of an idea of what age groups we're talking about here, Key Stage 1 is age 5 to 7, with year 1 being age 5-6 and year 2 age 6-7. And then Key Stage 2 is age 7 to age 11, with year 3 being 7-8 and moving forward. Sorry, slight technical issue there. And here we have just a very small example of a class timetable for a Key Stage 2 student. You can see that every morning begins with a morning check-in and registration. This particular example child has English first thing every morning, and then maths, and then break time, and then a variety of lessons moving throughout the day, including year group assemblies, classes, whole Key Stage assemblies, IPC, enrichment, languages, and Indonesian. And we'll be talking a little bit more about our different curricular provisions later on. We have and try to have great parent communications, because as we all know, communication is a key to a good relationship. And the majority of your information will be coming through Firefly, and that's our parent communication system of choice. As you can see, we have everything from being able to see primary class pages, to the learner profiles, to the curriculum, to the uniform, and everything in between. And of course, you can always get hold of your child's class teacher. And then we have parents as partners. So every Friday, a primary bulletin will be sent out via Firefly, and that gives you key updates about the primary school with current and upcoming dates. Then we have a variety of parent workshops, and we are very much hoping that as many of you will be able to come in person to our workshops this year. So term 1 are based on curriculum, term 2 wellbeing, and term 3 is looking at those transitions. And then we have very, very important people. We have parent liaisons, and they are key parent volunteers from each class who support in creating that class community and share information. We also have class blogs, and that just gives you an idea of a window into your child's learning. I am now going to pass over to Mr. Hope, our Deputy Head of Primary.
Thank you, Mrs. Westwood. Just to move on now to look at the curriculum and assessment in the primary school. We're going to be looking quickly at the core and then at in a bit more detail as we go through. So we move on to the next slides. Okay, our core curriculum from years 1 to 6 contains both a link to the national curriculum for the UK, which we use for our maths and our English. We also do take from best practice from other areas for both of those subjects to help support that. But the curriculum we follow is the English national curriculum there. For the rest of the subjects across the primary school, we use the international primary curriculum. We'll look at that in a bit more detail in a second. Okay, around that then, in terms of developing a broad curriculum, we have a massive range of different things that we do. So you can see a lot of things around there. I'll pick out a few of those. So we do things like philosophy for children and thinking moves, where we're developing the children's ability to talk confidently, to deliver, to discuss, and to develop what we call their metacognition, their thinking about thinking. Range of after-school activities. We have enrichment for ages 7 to 11, where the children actually get to choose the different subjects they might want to do. And that's supported as well by our specialists, as Mrs. Westwood said earlier, the music, drama, instrumentals, physical health education, and the language that we do. And we support a range of different things for the Indonesian education curriculum as well. So there's a huge amount of things that we do to support the full breadth of the curriculum on what we do. Also, in terms of supporting the curriculum, learning technology is something that runs all the way through and is fully integrated into the curriculum that we use. We have a one-to-one iPad system for KG to year 6, and that is including the fees. We manage that in the school. That allows us to control what's on the iPads, what they use, and to make sure that the apps that we use are for supporting learning within the classroom and beyond. We have very good IT provisions, as it was said earlier. We are an Apple distinguished school, and we're very proud of that. It takes a lot of hard work, and we're recognised as one of the leaders for learning technology in Indonesia. One thing that's extremely important to us is making sure that we link to our what we call the host country where we are. So it's very important for our global citizenship elements that we support our Indonesian curriculum as well. We cover the core subjects. All students will cover Bahasa Indonesia. We also then will do civics and religious education for the Indonesian citizens from year 2 upwards all the way up to year 13. Now, if we look a little bit more closely at the primary curriculum, you can see some of the active learning that we do there. The children trying to getting into the role of learning about the history or the science that's going on. And the English language is our main medium of delivery, the language that we use to deliver things. And so if we look first of all at the English. So on the English, it is based on best practice from the UK and beyond. We have a focus on speaking and listening as the first stage. If you are a good speaker and listener, that means you can develop into a good reader. If you're a good reader, you can develop into being a good writer. We support writing through the handwriting, the phonics and the spelling. And we also have a program called Talk for Writing, where they develop through those things to go into their, to develop their English language going through. For the mathematics, our focus is on not just the different strands of mathematics that you can see there, you can see number measures and so forth, and reasoning is probably the most important one. But we also emphasize mastery. So it's not just speed and efficiency we want children to be able to reason, to explain, and to be accurate and link it to real life problem solving. For the IPC and the International Primary Curriculum, that covers all the other academic strands. You can see them listed there, from science down to Indonesian culture, where we link to our home and host country, as we said, to make sure that we're covering all the different areas international as well. Okay, how would you know about your children, how they're progressing? Assessment and reporting is really important to us. And we have a range of different ways we do that. You can see a timeline here going through the year from term 1, term 2 and term 3. And that's, we would report at the end of the year with formal written report, but we'd also report to you through student-led reflections. We'd invite you in for exit points to see the learning that's going on with IPC and to do target setting and next steps for the children. Just a quick look at assessment, just to explain this. We do external standardized assessments alongside our internal assessments. And you can see here the pink columns. Our mathematics is, this is the data prior to the pandemic, is at 115. The UK norm is 100. Now that puts us into beyond the average and into the high category for our average. So the BSJ's average is in the high brackets. And it's the same for reading as well. We're even higher there as well. So we do make a difference. We do make a positive difference with your children to make sure that they progress and progress better than we would expect. Okay, I think I'm going to hand over to Mrs. Keenan now for the campus.
Yes, thank you very much. It's lovely for all of you to join us today. So I'm just going to take you through a little bit of the campus and show you. So our learning extends not only in the classroom, but our outdoor classrooms as well. So all these teaching spaces have been recently renovated so that they're very purpose-built, they're thought out. There are surfaces where the children can record their learning and write their thought processes. They've got different movable furniture so that nothing is static, so it can be adapted depending on what lesson and subject they're doing. As you can see here, this is the outside areas, which are used for lunchtimes and playtimes, but often also are extended to outside learning areas, especially at Key Stage 1. So year 1 and year 2, where they can also go into free flow and do some, sort of science or experimentation, still develop their gross and fine motor skills in the outdoor classroom. So these are all our, super world-class facilities that really develop the children's learning beyond the classroom. As you can see, we've got a huge sand pit over there, which is really important, especially for children at this age, to develop their physical core strength, shoulder pivot and elbow and wrists, as they engage in big actions and smaller actions with digging and transporting sand, because all that transfers into the class learning as well and makes them develop finer motor skills when it comes to writing, for example. So this is our learning environment, and I'm handing back to you. Is it Mrs. Westwood to go over our medical?
Yes, so we are very fortunate here. We have a great medical team on site. We have a doctor and several nurses. So if there are any incidents, we're a school and things do happen, we've got some very, very capable staff on site who are able to support our children straight away. I'm going to pass back to Mrs. Keenan.
Unmute myself. So student well-being and learning is at the heart of everything that we do. And if you go back to the previous mandala, it encompasses everything that we believe in. So ensuring that is the holistic well-being of the child, so their personal, social, emotional needs, that their academic needs are met. And for that, we have a big team. So, we have a team of individual needs team. So if there are any academic or behavioral support, student well-being counselors. So we've got Mrs. Reina, who the children know, and her door is always open for them to visit her and speak to her if they need to. And then we also have an English as an additional language team. So we have the opportunity for students that come with limited English to have English as an additional language, with the ultimate goal of always being integrated back into class as soon as possible, or to, alongside with their learning, so that they are able to access the curriculum. We all worked very closely together with the primary leadership team to ensure that all their learning, your children's learning and needs are met, and that they're first and foremost, that they're happy, that they're thriving in school, and that they are just become these global lifelong learners who are really keen to come to school every day. Thank you. Is it back to Mr. Hope now?
I'll take this on. And so we also have a house system here. So when students join BSJ, and if they're all in the same family, they're placed in the same house. And our houses support cooperation, competition, and they're led by house captains. And they are named after 4 Indonesian volcanoes. We have Merapi, Agung, Bromo, and Krakatoa. And the children are very excited by the house activities. Then we have our school uniform in primary. So we have in the middle, we have our PE uniform. That's what the children wear. That is also the house t-shirts, the house colours. And on the right-hand side, we have our uniform for years 1 to 6. And you can see that that is based on the beautiful batik. And there are lots and lots of options for the children within that to, make themselves feel good about what they're learning, how they're learning, and it's designed to be comfortable and hard wearing. So then, importantly, food. We do encourage healthy eating here at BSJ, and we have an option for families to sign up for school catering. There is an online system for ordering and adding food, and students can also buy food in school using their red bands, which they also use for entry to campus. Importantly, we are a nut and shellfish free school. And then in order to get children to and from school, we have Bluebird operated buses. They're all GPS tracked, fully chaperoned, and we have coverage throughout the whole Jakarta region. And we have different options and flexible options for KG, Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2, and ECAs. If you have any questions, please pass them straight on to the buses at BSJ email. I'm going to pass back over to Mr. Hope now.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Westwood. I think I'm getting a bit confused on things. So on child protection, that is safeguarding and child protection is possibly the most important aspect of our school. We have got to make sure that your children are safe, they're well looked after. We have a very thorough process in which we screen staff who come on to work on our site, who work, and that goes all the way through, right the way from gardeners through to the teachers. We make sure that everybody has regular training to ensure that they know how to keep the children safe, they know how to respond if incidents happen. And we have a team of highly qualified child protection officers, so that if ever there is a concern, that we know what to do, we know how to respond. And we have a saying at the school in terms of doing nothing is not an option, so that if there is something that happens, we would want to know, we will treat it sensitively, and we will respond and help to make sure that all of our children are kept safe and secure while at BSJ. Passing back to you now, Mrs. Westwood.
Thank you. I just lost the ability to unmute myself for a moment. I do apologise. So just to wrap up, so we are very, very excited to be back at school and campus. And we, as Mr. Hope said, that we keep our children very safe during the school day. And as you can see from these small selection of photographs, they are also very, very happy, because as we all know, a happy child is a successful child. And what's really important to us here is that our children are safe and secure in their learning environment. And that is all of the formal slides from us today. As you can see, we are on Facebook as a British School Jakarta. We're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, and we have our very own website, bsj.sch.id. So if you do have any questions, please put them into the chat, and we will be able to help you. So just as we finish, just to kind of talk a little bit more about how our primary curriculum supports our children as people. As you can see, we've talked quite a lot about academics, and we have had a query, well, how does it develop our children? So actually, everything we do is not just about the knowledge, it's about how children are gathering knowledge and how they are using that together. I'm going to pass back over to Elvira, and she will be taking the questions.
Yes. So we welcome parents. If you have any questions related with the admissions in general or academic, feel free to reach us via chat box, or you can directly throw the questions to us. And maybe I would like to also explain in general on the admissions process for primary students. So at the moment, if you are looking for year 2, the process is fill the application form on our website, bsj.sch.id, go to the admissions page, and on the below there's a button called Apply Now. So once you have fill all the mandatory requirement in the application form. After that, you settle the application fee payment, and then within 3 working days, we will send you the link to have the interview with our primary leadership team. So once we have the interview session finished, and then we will inform whether the students accepted or not. So the process is quite simple. It will take maximum 7 working days for that. And we do offer school tour if you're interested. So the school tour is, the schedule is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Is starting at 10:30 a.m. So if you're interested, drop your email address, DM in the chat box, and then we will send you the admission info pack. And in the email, we will also send you the registration form for you to join our school tour.
I can see that we have a question here about students being able to write to year 1. Mrs. Keenan, would you like to take that question on? Mrs. Keenan, you're on mute.
Yes, I know. I'm just trying to unmute myself as well. I was just actually replying to that in the chat. So Obviously, we work with every child and as their needs. It is beneficial for children to have at least some understanding and to start to write for a purpose. So when we talk about writing for a purpose, they start drawing, giving meanings to their marks, start forming some letters. So that's what we would just encourage in the development of the fine motor skills. I also see that there was a question whether there is an admissions entrance test. There is an admissions interview. So you would be meeting with either myself or one of our key stage 1 team or primary leadership team, but usually with myself. And we would have a chat with your child, play some games and just get an understanding of them really as well, so that we know how to best support them. So I think those were, is there an open house coming up? Yes, there is an open house coming up. And there'll be more details shared and it'll be in November. But if you would like to book an admissions tour, we're always open and happy to show you around campus as well.
There's a question here about sports activities. I can give you a very brief overview and I will pass over to Mr. Hope, who has been here for a very long time, who'll be able to fill in any gaps that I have. So basically, any sports that you might be interested, we offer it. The times of the day will depend on which year group children are in. So school ends at 1:45 for year 1 and for year 2 children. And then they have the option of after school activities, ECAs, at 1:45 to 2:45. And then as children move into year 3 upwards, then the school day finishes at 3:45 with ECAs beginning at 4 o'clock. Mr. Hope, I will pass to you to give any more information.
Yes,
about sports.
the after school activities, we do a lot of sports activities. We do everything from the Manchester City football, but we do the Flabicia sports, which are T-ball. We do athletics, we do swimming. We have a fantastic swim program all the way through from year 1, in fact, KG, all the way up to year 13, where we compete internationally. We have a gymnastics program. We also have a lot of sports that we do during the day. So we try to give them the opportunity to try different sports. We've got a table tennis competition at the moment. We do rock climbing in our rock climbing area. We do some touch rugby, all sorts of different sports. So there's a massive provision for sports, both in the after school and during the day, for the activities enrichment and at breaks and lunch times as well. I hope that answers.
There was another question about how inclusive are you with children's condition, e.g. ADD, ADHD. There would be, obviously with the admissions interview, we would have to discuss all of that and see what, the psych educational report says, and if there is if we are able to support. So we do have, as the wellbeing team and part of the IN team, but however, we would also need parents to be on board so that we can best support the child.
I think one of the questions was about languages. In terms of languages, we focus on Bahasa Indonesia as the second language, if you like, that runs all the way through from KG to year 13. But we do have a choice of languages from age 7, from year 3, where they can choose Mandarin, Spanish, or French at present. And they will continue that through to secondary school. And I believe in year 7, if they wish to change then, most don't, then they can choose a different language at age.
All right, I think we have come to the end of the session. Thank you very much for Mind arranging this beautiful event. So parents, if you're interested, do visit our website, www.bsj.sch.id. go to the inquire form, and we'll be happy to answer all of your inquiries. Once again, from the British School Jakarta team, thank you so much having us today, and have a healthy and safe week. Thank you.